for me, not for you, but still. So today we're going to look at greed, and I'm going to talk a little quietly because my roommates are sleeping. It's kind of early. But as we learned in the videos, greed is greed is the want or the desire for more wealth or possessions. So I chose greed to act specifically be today because I'm going to work, and I realized I happen to work at a very greedy place, which is okay. But I think once I get there and I show you guys around, you will realize maybe why I chose greed to be today. I think, as we learned in the videos, greed can be a little deceiving, where you see it as a good thing or a bad thing, and I personally think that where I work is more of good greed, where you're blinded by the want and not necessarily realizing that it can be bad sometimes. So with that, let's go to work and let's learn about greed. Okay, hi. So it's about an hour and a half-ish since I've last seen you. I'm about to get ready to head in, and we're gonna go observe why my workplace is such a greedy place. And I'm sure you're wondering, where do you work? We're about to find out. Hope you got your guesses in. The Amazon. Just kidding, I love my job, but I know some of you were thinking it. Anyway, so in this next clip here, we're gonna see me showing you guys around the station, and right in front of me, we have cages that have boxes and whatnot in them, but those are actually for the owners. And then across the way, we have boxes stacked on top of carts, which are used to pull out to the vans when packing. And here is a long shot of the station so you guys can get kind of a perception of how big it actually is. It spans from A to Z, so a lot of boxes, a lot of greed. Okay, hi, so now I'm back in my car. As you can see, I'm an Amazonian. I work for Amazon. I don't work for Jeff. Long story short, I work for an Amazon distribution center and a different company, which I won't say, but basically they partner with Amazon, and we are Amazon drivers and deliverers. So as you can see, I chose greed to be today because I was coming to the warehouse. From the last videos or clips you just saw, I chickened out just a smidge because I got a little nervous filming on the floor. It is kind of a dangerous place in the sense that there's a lot of moving parts, there's all the conveyor belts, and so they try to you have to be very safe. I'm currently wearing a safety vest so that they can see you, and I kind of don't want to obstruct that by being the person filming. So I try to be very inconspicuous in my filming for privacy reasons, scaredy cat reasons, and yeah, but I think you were able to tell that this is a big warehouse, okay? And they have so many boxes, it's crazy. On average, you know, you deliver over 1 million packages a year, and that's just for the company I work for. There are 5 companies that run out of this one warehouse. So that is a lot of packages, and as you can see, I'm sure a lot of these could be needs. You know, you need something, you order online, but most of it is wants. You know, these are our desires. We get bored, we doom scroll, we online shop for fun. Oh my gosh, I need that. Oh no, it's gonna take 3 days to deliver. That's not good enough. All of a sudden, this convenience of online shopping has turned into a little greedy because we want everything faster than we did before. We pay for Prime so we can get it 2 days from now, or you know, we pay so we can get it even overnight. There's some items you can get it overnight and get it to your house by like 4 a.m., which is insane. And if you understood the whole process of that, it blew my mind when I found out when I started working here. But there are Amazon drivers in front of me. They probably think I'm so crazy talking to myself in my car, but you know, they're supporting the greed, so I'm just trying to be aware of it. But yeah, like, this is definitely a greedy place. And now that I'm starting my greed journey for today, I'm kind of realizing this is going to be a pretty sinful day. One of my roles at my job is I do payroll for the company, and today happens to be payroll day. And it's not payday, it's payroll day, which means the day that I submit all the payroll. So yeah, I have a lot of drivers that ask me about their money and how they're gonna get paid and make sure they're getting paid the right hours. And there are some people that try to milk the clock, and so they can get very, we'll say, defensive over their time. And that can definitely be a greedy process because you want your money and you want the right amount. So this is definitely gonna turn out to be a greedy day. I'm getting ready to go home now. If you're curious, the time is 10:38 a.m., which you're like, what, home? But the station is just one of the things once your drivers are on the road, there's not much to do. So I'm going home, gonna work from home, and then we'll see what else takes us, what greediness will find us today. Back in the car again. So I'm actually gonna go car shopping, which is kind of funny, hence the day. This was not planned, but I plan to go car shopping with my mom after work, and my mom is here. Say hi, Mom. Hi. Thanks, Mom. But yeah, so I'm gonna go car shopping, but this is more of a need rather than a want, so it's not that greedy, but I do think car shopping can be kind of greedy. But also, currently there are about 3 police officers at my neighbor's house, and I think it's a little greedy that I'm so curious to know what's going on. They've been here for at least an hour. Don't know why, but it's weird how you can feel a little greedy. Like you feel like not that you deserve to know, but you really want to know. So off to car shopping. So I just got done looking at some cars, and what I'm realizing is this is a very greedful experience. Although this car is more of a need than a want, there are some greediness attached to it. Like, I got my car inspected, like, for a trade-in, and I feel like my car was worth more money than they are actually saying it was, which is interesting because, I think it shows like how greedy we are of our own possessions. We think that they're more valuable than they're actually worth. And then of course they're trying to sell a car, and then you want to make a deal, and they also have the same, side for their own possessions. They feel this car is worth more. You're not going to get this car anywhere else. You won't get this deal anywhere else. And so it's definitely a very greedy experience. But although that's all true, I'm buying a new car. So I guess at the end of the day, we're just committing greed today. See where greed takes us later. So it appears greed took us right back to where we started, back in my dorm room. But today was quite a greedy day, and I was not expecting that. Weirdly enough, I went into today specifically choosing greed because I knew I was going into work, and I was going into the Amazon warehouse, which I only go to once or twice a week. So I wanted to film that experience today because I thought it would be a great representation of greed. That warehouse delivers all of the packages from Naples to Marco Island every single day. So you can just imagine how many boxes are in there and how much greed we are fulfilling for our customers, right? But as mentioned earlier, not all of those are necessarily needs. You're walking around the station, you can see TVs, gaming equipment, computers, and of course those can be needs, but a lot of the times they're probably more wants. You want the new phone, you want the new Xbox that's coming out, and you order it, right? You don't even think twice about it, and it comes to your house the next day. I don't think a lot of people necessarily think of the process. So that was also one of the reasons I wanted to film the warehouse, just so you guys can see kind of the behind the scenes of what happens to Amazon, and definitely how crazy it is, I think is the best way to say it, because when I started working there and understood the whole process, it was insane. But that wasn't even the greediest part of today. I thought it was totally going to be the greediest part, but you know, I planned last minute to go car shopping with my mom, and that was another greedy experience. I felt that, you know, my car is worth a lot more than they were willing to trade me in for, and I stick by that. I stick by that. That's a good car. I've kept great care of her over these past 5 years, and I deserve that extra little bit of money for her. And it's funny because I mentioned previously that you get so attached to it. Like, yeah, it's a car, but like, that's my car. I put love into her. I put gas into her, time, effort, energy. I feel like I technically deserve some sort of proper, I guess, reformation for it. Like, I want them to pay me justly for the car, right? And, you know, vice versa. They want to be paid nicely for their car. So definitely as a greedy experience, I wasn't really expecting that. And then of course I had payroll, and I just finished my payroll numbers. It is currently around, not wearing a watch, no idea what time it is. I think it's around like 10:30, give or take. It's probably around 10:30, intuition. But that's greedy. I'll just say, I can't give numbers, you know. That's against the law. Not against the law. Against my law for my business. I'm not gonna tell them their numbers. But I can tell you is that, you know, we paid out 87 people, right? So do the math. That's a greedy experience. But one thing I did think was very interesting today, although I had a very sinful and greedy day, was that now that I'm being more aware of the sins, and this video probably will come later in the series, but it happens to be the first one I'm filming. But now that I'm more aware of the sins, I'm realizing how many we're committing. A good and a bad thing, honestly, I don't know. I think you go to confession and you feel like sometimes you have nothing to say, and sometimes you feel like you have a whole 20-page book of everything you have to confess that you sin for. And I think now that I'm more aware, I'm like, man, I am sinning. And not even in a bad way, just even driving to work this morning, there was so much traffic, there was so much rain, and people get a little silly, we'll say. And, you know, I started to experience wrath. I was like, these people, these drivers, you know, get a little bit of road rage, right? I was so angry, you know. And then I didn't even mention the reason why I went to the Amazon station today, on an off day. I don't usually go today, was because today happens to be National Donut Day. So I bought donuts for all the drivers. So, you know, you're feeding into gluttony. And I guess too, like, you know, maybe a little bit of pride because you're doing it so that you're liked, that the business, you know, you're trying to engage and incentivize your drivers. But can also be a little greedy, to be honest, because you feel that we want them to like us, we want them to be better, that way the business could be more successful. You could overanalyze all of this. It's mind-boggling. But I don't even know what tomorrow will hold in store, because, you know, today's been crazy. Well, that was greed. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. Apologies if it was a little all over the place, but yeah, this is supposed to be fun. Toodles.